Hello, this is Jackrabbit Journal. I'm Tom Nieman. Hank McCall is out this week, and matter of fact, he is at home with his new baby daughter. Her name is Alexandra, and she is totes adorable. Baby and mama are doing very well. She looks a little bit like Hank, quite a bit like Hank, actually. He says that he is worn out from the whole thing, so he is not here this week, but congratulations to the McCalls. Meanwhile, the Jacks go 1-0 this week. They get their first win of the season, a 44-18 victory over Cal Poly with 12,219 fans in the stands for the home opener. Zach Lujan makes his first start at quarterback, and he was pretty good, 12 for 20, 184 yards, 1 interception, and 3 touchdowns, one of those to Trevor Wesley, his first career touchdown catch. The Jackrabbit defense had its hands full with the Cal Poly triple option, but handled it very well for the most part. Got to remember, Cal Poly led the nation in rushing last year with 309 yards per game. They ran for 226 on Saturday, but a lot of that, 70% of that, coming in the first half before the Jacks figured it out and pretty much shut it down after that. The Jacks had 9 tackles for loss, including 3 by Jake Gentile, who did not start this week, but he had one of the best games of his career. We'll hear from him coming up later in the show. And we will hear right now from Zach Zenner. ZZ goes for 193 yards on 30 carries. He now has 4,825 yards in his career, and that is a new Missouri Valley Conference record.
I was glad to get the win, to be honest. The record would probably be broken, in a couple years anyway, by someone else. So I was just really glad to get the home victory tonight.
That's about all you're going to get out of Zenner. Total team player. It's not about him, even though it usually is a lot about him, if you know what I mean. But the fat guys, the offensive line, did all that blocking for Zenner and allowed just 1 sack in this game. Coach Stig was excited about that, and he will take you through the big plays of the first half between the Jacks and Cal Poly when we come back.
Jackrabbit Journal on Midco Sports Network is presented by Billionauto.com.
Well, the top 3 most popular names for baby boys so far this year are Asher, Declan, and Atticus. All right, thanks a lot, Hunger Games. The name Zach is not even in the top 50 right now, but it is a hot handle in Brookings with Zach Zenner and Zach Lujan leading the way for the SDSU football team. Let's go to Stig's office and get to the Zacks and the Jacks and the big plays of the first half against Cal Poly.
It was a fun win. It was a great crowd, beautiful evening, and we played some good football, but we can play a lot better.
All right, describe as we get into the highlights here. Cal Poly runs this, they call it the triple option. You can give it to the fullback. There's so many things that the defense has to be aware of. Here's the first couple of plays of the ball game. Describe what's going on.
Yeah, this is simply a called dive. They're base blocking the guy they normally read. And our Mike linebacker has to read daylight or darkness. Does it close up and they pull it, or does and here they pull it. They arc block their tackle, which is highly unusual. And you just, there you see the guy that tackled the dive, tackling the pitch. It should have been funneled inside, but he did a pretty good job of taking care of it.
All right, Jack's second possession of the ball game here. Trevor Wesley makes a couple of catches in this drive.
He does, and it's not only the catches he makes. He had dropped 2 balls before that. Based on their defense, he was the guy to look for. And here you see us looking for him again, making the touchdown catch. But sign of a winner, a guy that comes back and makes a play. Now, we got to teach him to hand the ball to the officials there, but we'll take one step at a time. Big play. And he's excited because of what he didn't do before.
All right, 7-0. Jack's in the lead, and then Cal Poly's quarterback gets outside a little bit here. You guys had the right call on, though?
Unbelievable, yeah. We knew they ran draw in that situation. We called the defense for draw. In fact, it was name draw, the defense was, and they get however many yards. So things to work on.
All right, here's the other part. They can throw it a little bit, too.
Yeah, we were all surprised because they really struggled throwing the ball against New Mexico State. And here you see him throw a bullet to the sidelines. That's a bootleg pass, which fits their stuff. Here, a fourth down play, that is tough to stop. They fire off, they lead up their fullback, they lead another back, and it's just tough to stop.
And then Chris Brown, quarterback, on the keeper for the touchdown.
Well, here they got us in a formation. They did a lot of new formations in this game, and because of their offense, we had put in some new defenses, so it was a little hard to adjust, and they got us on our heels there and walk in too easy.
All right, Zach, so get it back here. Zach Zenner, another fabulous game for him, and they head for 14 yards here, and then not a real good pass here coming up from sophomore quarterback Zach Lujan.
Well, no, a good run by Zenner, good play action here. There's just too many guys there to throw that football, and our offensive coordinator wanted it thrown early, and I agree. But it still would have been a tough throw to complete. Give them some credit. I mean, you play a good football team, they're going to make some plays. Now, they don't want to get injured there on the sidelines, but here you see a huge play in a football game. You never know what play is going to affect the game. That's a fourth down where they fire off the ball, and we do stop them. You can see the excitement, and that creates some momentum for our football team.
All right, early on in the second quarter here, after that tackle by Langer, Jack's on 3rd and 12, and a Lujan to Matt Raymond for 23 yards.
Good job, great job by our fat guys, giving him time, stood in the pocket. I love it when a quarterback just stands there and doesn't get antsy, and fun to see Matt Raymond, a hard-working guy for us, make a big play for us.
3rd down here, go to Zenner, and it gets stuffed up a little bit.
Yeah, that's just, again, good defense in their part. Zach's got to bounce it to his left. Our guard's got to wash that down to make it easier. And again, they win the chess game, the chess battle in that one play.
You get a field goal out of it there, though, to take a 10-6 lead, and then Chris Brown doing it again.
Again, not a new formation, but a totally new play. We had not seen that play. And again, we take on blocks on the wrong leverage, made the call wrong, aligned the front wrong, and they end up getting a huge play.
And they get you flowing one way, and then you go back to the other side.
They hit us with this throwback screen to their fullback 2-3 times in this football game. And I mean, you don't want to see that. A guy that's being blocked have to make the tackle. So it was a good scheme for them, how they ran their offense.
And then they kind of walk in for the touchdown here.
Yeah, no, they had run that play twice before that. We'd stuffed it, and they blocked it a little different. And that's the whole concept of this offense. We're going to run a few plays, but we're going to change up blocking schemes and so on, make you defend it, and we don't get it done.
All right, after that, the Cal Poly takes a 12-10 lead there. They fail on a 2-point conversion, and then the Jacks, good drive here before the end of the first half. Wesley again with another catch to get into Cal Poly territory. And then there's a lot going on for a young quarterback. Looks down here, you get a timeout call, but there's just a lot going on, isn't there?
Well, we had some trouble with our signals and him getting the numbers right on his play card. And you're right, there's a lot going on. He can be sharper and we can be sharper. But there's a nice play by Jason Schneider to get upfield. That's what I love about our receivers right now, Tom, is they get the ball and they get upfield. They don't dance.
Yes, good crop of receivers. And then on 3rd down here, Zenner. He doesn't get credit enough for the toughness that he shows on these short runs.
A lot of yards after contact with Zach Zenner. Really, he runs hard.
And then Lujan to Schneider here for a touchdown.
Yeah, this is probably not a great pass, but again, he has some big targets in Schneider and Winicky, and you can throw it close to him and they go up, and those are two really good wide receivers for us.
All right, puts the Jacks up 16-12 at halftime, and we go for 2 here and it gets stopped. The scoring got a little discombobulated after their kicker went down. And you go for 2 in some places. It's just you've got a card that says when you go for 2 and when you go for 1, right?
Yeah, I mean, we take the math. We do the math before, and it's all based on combinations of scoring situations in football. And I get asked that every week about the card, and I don't know why you wouldn't do that. In fact, it's kind of weird. When I watch college football at home, sometimes late at night, I don't have my card, but I'm thinking, what are they going to do? And it all should be spelled out.
Here is the chart. It has one side for when you are ahead, and then it's got the other side for when you are behind. And you simply pick the number of points you are ahead or behind, and the card tells you go for 1 or go for 2. It is based on the premise that you will not score again in the game. It's not what if we score and then they score and then we score again and then what happens. It doesn't work that way. It's based on right now, what gives you the best chance to win if you don't score again. And Stig says that he never strays from the card. There is no guesswork. He goes by it every time, and he will gladly give you one of your very own if you want it, so that the next time you're second guessing the decision to go for 1 or go for 2, you can simply check the chart. Well, Zach Zenner was off the chart again on Saturday, his record-breaking day, and the second half of the Jackson-Cal Poly when we come back.
Jackrabbit Journal on Midco Sports Network is presented by BillionAuto.com.
Well, the Jacks lead Cal Poly 16-12 at halftime. Cal Poly was diving it and faking it and pitching it and fake pitching it and passing it and all of that stuff in that option offense. But the Jackrabbits got past the smoke and mirrors for the most part, settled in nicely on defense. And here is Stig talking about that and then the big plays of the second half.
We knew they could run the football. We knew that if you stopped a run, they weren't going to quit running the football. They were going to find a way to run the football. And we held them to fewer yards rushing than New Mexico State did. But they threw the ball a lot better. But it's just an option offense that stresses you.
All right, let's get into the second half here. And Cal Poly's got the football here on their first drive. And on a 3rd and 2, and you talk about reading the flashcards for your defensive guys, it seems like they did here. Just couldn't quite make the tackle, but they will on the next play.
Yeah, a great job by Jack Sherlock doing more than he's asked. He bounced the play and then had the guy in the backfield. We talk about grabbing cloth. If you grab cloth, tackles aren't broke. Here, great call. Just bring a weak side blitz. Jake Gentile had a phenomenal game in this game, and that was a huge play in the game to stop the drive.
All right, get the ball back here in the Jacks' first drive of the second half. Going to be Zach Zenner going for 20 yards.
Zenner's a good player, but this is a play we put in at halftime because of how they had bottled up the middle, and his running back, the running back coach, Nick McKissick-Luke, said, I think we got to run force. We ran it, and it's 20 yards. And then they get the 15-yard penalty on the sidelines.
And then Zenner for 17 here, same side, a little different play.
Well, that's a read. He has the ability to throw it if they insert the linebacker, or he hands it off. So literally, as the play's being run, he is deciding, am I going to throw the bubble screen or hand it off?
All right, 2 plays after that. Lujan to Jake Winneke for a touchdown.
Really nice job by Jake. Jake had a fade in that play, and the guy didn't give him a fade release, so he juked him a little bit, went inside, and then Zach Lujan had to throw it inside rather than outside. And that's a redshirt freshman making that play, so that's fun.
Another big target, Winneke at 6'4". So it's 23-12, Jacks in the lead, and then 3rd and long here, Nick Mears up the middle for a stop.
Yeah, kind of a unique play. It looked like it was supposed to be kind of quarterback cutback or quarterback draw, but he didn't go back very well, but Nick did a nice job of standing in his gap.
All right, Jacks get the ball deep in your own territory here. Kind of an ugly drive as Lujan gets stripped there. Nick Purcell's going to get on it, but you got to end up punting from inside your own 5.
That is exactly the terminology Coach Eisnes, our offensive coordinator, said. After those 3 plays, he said that was ugly. And good teams respond. We need to respond.
But again, they get the short field, and Gentilly, again, flying up to make a play here. It seemed like you had him and Mears and the safeties coming at the right time.
Well, we did. And again, in the option, you have to be part of the run fits. Here you see us. JT Hassel, again, this is a true freshman. He's going to make some good plays here. He is all over the field. A great athletic ability.
All right, that brought up 3rd down. Here's the 3rd down play. It's going to be a complete pass, but there's Hassel again.
Yeah, just doing his job, understanding that have the ball thrown in front of us, go rally, make the tackle. You see a lot of blue jerseys around the ball.
Here's 4th down. Pressure by Hassel. Gentilly making the play.
Again, an athlete making plays, couple athletes making plays. Huge play in that football game. You don't know the momentum, the points, all that stuff. A big play in that 4th down.
All right, that's early on in the 4th quarter. And then on 3rd and 2 here, a swing out to Winneke. He's going to go for a big play.
Winneke gets the yards. In fact, they called it a rush because he threw it behind him. Zach gets to throw it, but the huge play in that thing was Jason Schneider making the block. There were 2 guys out there. He blocked them both, essentially.
52 yards on that carry by Winneke, and then going to go trips left here, kind of get those wide receivers out to the left and let Zenner go to work for 15 yards.
Yeah, same thing. Again, basically, are they taking away the pass, or should we run the ball? And again, when you hand the ball off to Zach Zenner, good things happen quite often.
30-12, Jacks in the lead here. Still about 12 minutes left in the game, and it seemed like the defense had it totally figured out, and then it hit with an 89-yard play here.
This bothers me. This is not championship football. You can't go out on the field ever. You see JT Hassel run him down. That is phenomenal for an outside backer run down a wide receiver. But you can't go out on the field and not be sharp every play.
and they get the touchdown on the next play here. Fail on the 2-point conversion. It's 30-18 though, still with about 7.5 minutes to go.
You know, the game's not over.
Yeah.
You know, the game is not over at all. And I love it when the offense has the ability to go out and what we call turtle and use the clock and get a drive going. This was good. This was really good. I mean, Jake Wieneke again, and the corner had perfect position, and Jake said, no, it's my ball. Went up over him and made the play. Good throw by Zach Lujan.
Big wide receivers are nice to have, aren't they?
They are. It makes throwing the ball a lot easier.
Zenner's going to go 27 yards this time.
Again, outside play put in at halftime. He's running for 30 carries in that game. He's running pretty well.
Maybe get down to the goal line here, about the 10-yard line. Pass intended for Seth Landsman, who's up there, just keeping the pressure on the defense here.
Yeah, just the guy was all over him, and that's what I love. That's what my high school basketball taught me. Basketball coach taught me. Just keep playing, and sometimes coaches become a little more conservative. We're going to throw the ball if it's open.
Reggie Gandy gets in on the flash here to make it 37-18.
Yeah, again, good job by our offense looking for weaknesses or advantages, and in that situation, we had an advantage, able to get in the end zone.
And then we packed up early here. There was a play at the end of the game where there's a fumble by your team, and then Brady Mangarelli picks it up and goes for a touchdown. But you were just going to do what at that situation?
Well, they had enough timeouts to get the ball back, so we're going to run one play, see what they were going to do. I assume they were going to call or let the clock run, and then we were just going to take a knee. And we end up fumbling the snap. We'd practiced snapping on the side. We end up fumbling the snap, and Brady ends up picking it up and running in. I apologized to their coach at the end of the game, and he said there's nothing to apologize for.
All right, 44-18 final. Zach Zenner sets a new Missouri Valley Conference record for rushing. And, of course, he's humble, and it's honest humility out of him, as always, where he just said, I'm glad we won the game. But give a little credit to your All-American running back.
Well, the record goes, in his name, and he's a great football player. And we have good offensive linemen, tight ends, and fullbacks. But I will tell you this: they raise their level for a guy like Zach Zenner because he honors them and he's humble. He doesn't take any of the credit, and it's a fun situation to be in as an offensive team.
Well, here are the numbers. Lujan at 60% completions for the game and the 3 touchdowns. Wesley and Schneider with 3 catches apiece. Each of those guys had a touchdown grab. Nick Mears with 10 tackles to lead the way defensively. And then Zach Zenner, 193 yards, the new conference record. And he won't pat himself on the back, but Coach Stiegelmeier will.
He could care less. I don't know what he said. Give credit to the fat guys and the linebacker, or excuse me, the fullbacks and the tight ends, and then Zach's a great football player.
And Zenner named the Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Week very appropriately this week after setting that new record. Coaches love it when they can deal out some tough love and then have their players rebound and respond and play their tails off. That was the story with one Jack's defensive back this week. That story coming up next.
Jackrabbit Journal on Midco Sports Network is presented by BillionAuto.com.
To paraphrase Mick Jagger, you can't always get what you want. Sometimes you get what you need, and sometimes you need to get knocked down, work harder, come back better than ever. And that leads to the story this week of Jack's defensive back, Jake Gentile. Had a rough game in the opener at Missouri. Lost his starting spot this week, but he stayed with it, stayed positive, got after it in practice, and he came off the bench on Saturday to play one of the best games of his college career. Set a career high with 8 tackles, 3 of those for Cal Poly losses, and he was screaming all over the field making plays on Saturday. He took his demotion as a challenge, and then he took it out on Cal Poly.
In our opinion, we got 3 starters at safety. Everyone's got something they're good at. Everyone's got something they're not good at. We embrace it, not worried about it at all. Came out and I just played my game. No matter, I could care if I start, not play it down. As long as we win, that's all that matters to me.
I may have never been more proud of a young man than Jake Gentile. We took away his starting spot because we compete every week, and I called him in and I talked to him and he approached it like a man and like a winner, and he came out and played probably the best game he's ever played. And what do a lot of people, young people, do? They hang their head, feel sorry for him, and he came out and helped us win football game with some big plays. So we will use this, I guarantee you, this scenario, this story for years around here, because that's what it's all about. You know, you get your opportunity, make good, and he did.
All right, Gentilly and the Jacks hit the road this week to take on another team from the Big Sky Conference. We'll take a look at Southern Utah when we come back.
Jackrabbit Journal on Midco Sports Network is presented by Billionauto.com.
Welcome back. The Jacks play at Southern Utah on Saturday. It's a 7 o'clock Central Time start in Cedar City. The Thunderbirds are off to an 0-2 start so far. They lost at Nevada 28-19 in the opener, and then they lost this one 41-14 at Southeastern Louisiana on Saturday. Southeastern was the number 3 team in the country, by the way, last week. They are very good. Southern Utah is picked to finish 6th in the Big Sky, right in the middle. They have a monster middle linebacker named Chinadu Ahanunu, who has 39 tackles in just the first 2 games. He had 28 tackles against Nevada. Offensively, they have settled on a quarterback named Aaron Cantu, and it sounds like they like to throw it more than they like to run it.
They probably are going to do about a 1/3, 2/3 throwing the ball, probably 2/3 of the time. They do have some good receivers, and they've got a couple of very good tight ends.
Southern Utah is a good football team. They went to the playoffs last year. They spread you out on offense, but they're not the Star Wars stuff, you know, that what I call communist football. They are fundamentally sound, and then defensively, they are really, really good.
If the Jackrabbits win on Saturday, it will be win number 113 for Coach Stiegelmeier, and that would tie him for the most ever at South Dakota State University. Check us out on YouTube. We've got a video blog called SDSU YouTube. Check us out on Twitter. David Brown will be in Cedar City with the Jacks game on Saturday, and we will see you next week on Jackrabbit Journal.